As I stumbled through our intro to you, you're going to vote for Donald J. Trump, the first time you've ever voted for a Republican presidential candidate. Now, before Bob Woodward and his tape recorder came around, Donald Trump's detractors were painting him as a bona fide racist. So how can you be comfortable supporting a man so many despise on racial grounds?
Really? I mean, let's face it. I mean, when you look at Donald Trump record, let's talk about Donald Trump. Lowest unemployment for black Americans ever. Secondly, the First Step Act, giving people, black Americans, a chance to have a second chance out of prison. Third, funding historical black colleges. 47 years, Joe Biden, what has he done? Absolutely nothing. And let me be clear about this. Joe Biden told every black American, if you vote Republican, you ain't black. That is the most insulting statement to be made by a politician who claims he's for all people. He's telling me I have to vote Democrat or I'm not black. I question his ability to determine if I'm black or white or any color.
Well, you've seen the polls that suggest that black America is going to vote for Donald Trump in record numbers, but I also see the same polls that say Joe Biden is comfortably ahead in all the swing states. So can both polls be right?
Let me give you my honest opinion. You know as well as I do, Paul, covering political races, these polls are going to tighten up. And I will submit to you, people don't know this, Donald Trump got 1.2 million black voters in 2016. I will submit to you, people like Leo Terrell, longtime Democrats, are fed up with the Democratic Party. And he's going to get the largest number of black voters ever for a Republican candidate. And I guarantee you, people hear the message. One last point. Look at these Democratic cities, Bernie, Portland, Seattle, run by Democratic leadership. Black Americans want law and order. Black Americans want an opportunity to do well in this country. That's why they're voting Republican for the first time, like myself.
I'm assuming you know California Senator Kamala Harris pretty well. Assess her impact on Joe Biden's campaign, helping, hurting, or none of the above.
Let me give you my honest opinion. She's a disaster. And let me give you some facts. First of all, Kamala Harris incarcerated, ignored federal court orders by having black prisoners incarcerated longer than their sentence. That's a fact. Secondly, Kamala Harris dropped out of the race, Paul, 2 months before the Iowa caucus. You know why? She was polling poorly. She wasn't polling well among black Americans. Kamala Harris is after one thing, power, and she is concerned about Kamala Harris. She was a disaster as an attorney general when she incarcerated pot smokers, and then she goes around bragging that she smoked pot in college, listening to Tupac. Tupac didn't even have an album. So she's disingenuous from my perspective.
The streets obviously anger following the police encounters with Taylor, Floyd, Brooks, Jacobs, just to name the four that we've all seen in the media. But you're still critical of the BLM movement. Can you explain why?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you very much for that question. Black Lives Matter, Paul, only cares about black lives in which they can make money from, i.e., they want that scenario, white cop, black victim, which are far and few. Black Lives Matter do not give a hoot about black on black crime. Black Lives Matter do not give a hoot when there's a black police officer who's murdered, like David Dorn. Black Lives Matter is nothing more than a profiteer organization that has hijacked the Democratic Party. That's why you see these Democratic mayors shaking in Portland, Seattle, because they don't want to alienate Black Lives Matter. That's why you have Joe Biden and Kamala Harris who funded bail money for rioters in Minnesota. My point is simply this. Black Lives Matter is an extremist organization that does not represent mainstream black. Final point. How in the world could you have a civilized society without law enforcement? Black Lives Matter believes that we should defund police, have no police. It's ludicrous.
Systemic racism. If I had asked you that just a few years ago, you would have cited numerous examples of systemic racism. In 2020, what do you say?
That's the best question you asked me. Thank you for that question. I have the credibility. I challenge anyone watching your program. 30 years of civil rights law. I know what systemic discrimination is. People throw that term around. You cannot have systemic discrimination against black people when